G'day Internet, and welcome to what is, especially for me, a really exciting video. DxO Software have just released version 9 of their Nick Collection software, which I've been using for ages, well over 10 years I think, and I love this program. This software transformed my editing when I learnt about it, and I have used it on almost every single photo ever since. Now, to give you a quick rundown, what is Nick Collection? Basically, it's a premium suite of plugins that allows massive manipulation options for your photos, whether it's converting to black and white, adding film effects, just adjusting colors and details, which is where I mainly use it. It's all powerful and it can act as a standalone program. You can use it in Lightroom, plug in for Photoshop, or as I am here, as a plugin for Affinity version 3. This is running in now. So let me go through some of these new features that are released in this version of Nick Collection 9, and there are some game changers for my editing workflow. I'm definitely going to be making some changes to incorporate these new features. Everything is just much easier to use, everything is more powerful, and I think I'm going to get much better results even again now with these latest changes. So really excited. I've got 3 photos here that I'll step through and just show you what I can do with these latest features. Let's get into it. Okay, so to start off with, in this photo, I want to load into my filters, plugins, Nick Collection 9, and I'm going to go into color effects to show one of my favorite new features, which is depth masks. So previously you had a lot of good masking tools, but these depth masks are adding just some game-changing ability to me. I do a lot of pro contrast in my photos using this filter, and instead of being global now, I can now mask it based on the depth through the photo. Now, with a typical landscape like this, the foreground should be more contrasty than the background. The background should be softer, typically more lighter, and that is hard to normally replicate. Now, it's easy. So what I've done, I've loaded up a pro contrast filter here. I'm going to just add the global dynamic contrast just to show you what it does. And I'll go really strong here. It punches in some beautiful contrast, brings out some beautiful colors, but it's too much into the background. You've now got a drop-down selection for adjustments. It used to be icons, now it's just a list, much more easy to understand. And right here, you've got Depth Mask AI. So I'm going to click on that, and then when I hover over the image, you can see it's selecting part of the scene. Now, it's only selecting a narrow band in this image. That's fine. I want to have control over the depth, and I'll show you how I'm doing that. So I'm just going to select somewhere near the front here, because I want this contrast to fade as it goes into the distance. So I've made a selection there. What I've got here now on the right is a selection band that I can adjust. And if I hit the M key, or you can drop this little box here and switch between different overlays, I want to switch to the black and white overlay, and now I can adjust the mask option and literally select, and I can smooth it out to taper it off. I can literally select from front to back, fading into the distance, my mask. And if I hit M again to remove that overlay, and if I swing over it, it'll still bring up the overlay, but I can toggle this on and off, and we can see it's added that beautiful contrast to the foreground, but not to the background. And I love that. That is just absolutely awesome. Okay, so I want to do more pro contrast to the sky, but I want to just do it at a different strength. So what I'm going to do is another depth mask, but in the reverse, basically. So let's add another pro contrast filter, and I'm going to adjust the colors a bit and brighten that up a bit. So I've got different pro contrast settings here, and then I'm going to do another depth mask, but this time I'm going to select the sky and the distance. And again, I'll hit M. I like this black and white overlay view to really get a good idea of where the mask is. And again, I can adjust and really feather that out where that mask is going to affect from the back towards the front. Hit M again to turn that off, and now I've just added that beautiful little punch back into the sky. So that's the AI depth mask, which to me I am going to be using a lot. Now there is also a couple of new AI masks that have been added. Let's do a polarization filter. We might want to work on this water a bit. So if I add polarization, then I can again click on local adjustments and we have object selection. And this is again AI based, and I can highlight over the water here, click, and I've now filtered just on the water, and I can then increase the strength of the polarization and adjust the rotation, and that will get rid of a little bit of that sky reflection and bring more of that color out in the water. Again, these new masks are game changers as far as I'm concerned for editing. You can be so precise. What I'll do is get out of this one. Now let's have a look at another photo and a couple of more tricks that I can do with this masking. So I've got this beautiful scene here. Again, I'm going to go into color effects. And again, this will work in any of the filters in Nik Collection 9, whether it's for Vaser, silver effects for black and white, your analog effects for film effects, all that type of stuff. It'll work. These filters work in all of these. It's fantastic. I use color effects the most, so that's what I'm just using for examples of these. I use color effects the most, so that's what I'm using for examples of these. Now, in this case, what I want to do is two things. I'm going to do a depth mask to add more fog. I'm going to add a curves adjustment to make these front trees pop a bit, and I'll do a secret little thing that I think will be really good for the depth mask. So we'll come into that in a moment. So let's start by adding a fog filter, and you can see it just adds it over the entire image. That's not what we want. We want a bit of depth, we want a bit of 3D to it. So I'm going to create another depth mask, and we're going to click on the background here. I'm going to hit my M key for my black and white mode again, just so I can fade this in towards the front, but I don't want to affect the front trees too much. And if I hit M again, you can see that's the fog it's added. Obviously I don't want that amount of fog in there. There was already some nice fog. I just wanted to intensify it a bit, and I like that. That's lightened it up a bit. That's added more atmosphere to the scene. Next, as I mentioned, I'm going to add a levels and curves adjustment, and I'm going to just looking at the front trees only, really, because that's where I'm going to add the adjustment. I'm just going to put a bit of an S curve in. It's going to make a bit of pop to these trees. Currently it's doing the whole image. So let's add a local adjustment, go to the object selection, and we're going to select the tree. Yep, that's worked perfectly there. And now we can stack selections. So I'm going to click add object selection again, select this tree, add object selection, this tree, and we'll do the last tree as well. Boom. So if we look at the overall masking, we can see we've only selected the trees. It's done a really good selection. And if I turn that filter on and off, we've only made the adjustment to those trees. That's really cool. That's simple. You saw how quick I edited that. It's no brushing, no painting, super simple, and I love it. Now I'm going to actually apply that, and we'll go back into Affinity, where this I think is really cool. Something that just been thinking about what can I do with these new masks, and this one jumped out at me. So I'm going to just hit Control J or Command J if you're on a Mac and duplicate the layer. Then I'm going to go into my Nik Collection plugin, Nik Collection 9, and output sharpener. We can now sharpen using these masks, and in particular the depth mask. I don't want anything in this background to be sharpened, but I want this foreground and probably into these trees to be sharpened. And I can do that by simply, you got it, click add local adjustment, click depth mask, just click down the front here. I'll go to my black and white masking option just so I can see what I'm doing. I'll drag it out to the foreground and we'll come into the background, roll it off with a feather. I don't really want to get the park benches there. And that is our masking done. I zoom in, I can now adjust the strength, bring that down a bit, somewhere around there. And you can see that that sharpening is now perfectly rolling off into the background. That's awesome. I now can do really easy selective sharpening on my images. Typically always want the foreground to be sharper than the background. It just gives a much more realistic look to your landscape style photos. Love it. Absolutely love it. And yeah, that blows me away. Now the next thing that is new beyond the masks for me in particular is a filter called Halation. So we will go into color effects. So filters, plugins, Nick Collection, color effects, and you can use this on lights. That's kind of what it's for. It's the old film effect where light glows, but for me and my photography, I can use it on lightning. As soon as I saw this filter, this was the first thing that came into my head. Now, this lightning bolt, an amazing bolt, my best bolt from the recent season, already has a nice glow to it, but I want more. It's actually crazy sharp, and I want a bit more of that atmosphere into it. So over on the right here, we've got the halation filter. I'm just going to click the plus sign to add it. Now that did a crazy adjustment because you can add color to the light as well, which that actually looks pretty cool. All right, so what I'm actually going to do is just turn off the colorization for now, but we can see what this is doing. It is the brighter part, so it's picking that as the light in this image and making it glow, but I can spread that out a bit and also adjust the sensitivity to pick up on some of these thinner tendrils of the lightning. I can increase the glow, increase the blur. I've got such good control, and that's before and that's after, and that's really emphasized that main bolt now. So I absolutely love that. Now, there are a few more features that have been added into this latest version of Nick Collection 9. There's one that I will play with. I haven't really got into it yet, which is blending modes. So that is like your traditional, when you've got multiple layers and you want to blend one into another, you can use different blending effects now. As you can see here with darken, multiply, so you've got all your different actual blending modes in filters. So you could blend one filter to another filter. That's crazy, the type of things you can do. There's also some other new effects like a chromatic shift and a glass effect. More, I think, for those doing design type work necessarily than photography. But for me, it's the depth masks, the AI masks. There is a new color grading feature in there as well, really intuitive, which I will do more of in some upcoming videos. But for now, I just wanted to give you a quick overview and insight to what has come out in this update. It is a major update, a major change. I'm absolutely loving it. If you're interested in purchasing Nick Collection, you can use my discount code Murray Fox, code on the screen now, link in the description below to the DX store, and get 15% off any new license. Thank you again for watching. Please, if you like my content, subscribe to my channel, give the video a thumbs up. If you're already using Nick, comment down below what you think about this upgrade, whether you're going to get it or not. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to see me do some specific type of editing in these videos, let me know. Always happy to hear from you. But anyway, until next time, why not click on another one of these videos here? Thanks again.